Everyone, welcome to the 103rd episode of the Weekly Tax Update, October 31st, 2025, with me. How are you? And thank you for joining us. This is my bio, and if you need to reach me, scan that QR code. It'll populate all the information you might need about me into your phone, and feel free to reach out. I just want to give you my annual Halloween joke. You can see that I'm wearing my Halloween shirt. Halloween candy should be used as a learning tool for your children. Take 37% of their candy and explain you're the government, and this is how taxation works. Take it away. You can add your own narratives to that. Speaking of narratives, nothing that we discuss or mention here. It's all my opinion. It's certainly not meant to be political, but to the extent what's going on in Washington interacts how we do our job, I think it's important to talk about this. And certainly the government shutdown affects all of us and how we work and what we're doing. So it's important to know what's going on. As of yesterday, the IRS is still answering the telephone on a limited basis. Taxpayer-facing numbers do not work. Many of the revenue officer, revenue agent, automated underreported, those units aren't working. But if you call ACS or accounts, call the practitioner priority service and speak to ACS or speak to taxpayer assistance, you will get help. You will get a person. Calling earlier in the day is better than calling late in the day, but you will get somebody there to help you. So yesterday, let's talk about the shutdown. We are in week 5. Wednesday started week 5. AICPA had a town hall yesterday with their government relations person. Nothing really new was mentioned. They did say the House has been out since they passed the spending bill through November 21st, 2025. So the House passed passed the spending bill that would get us through November 21st. Of course, that's not what the Senate wants. The House wanted the House, meaning the Democrats, wanted a interim spending bill, and then let's negotiate on Affordable Care Act. The Senate said, nope, we want the whole gosh darn thing. So they voted 13 times. They have not gotten to 60 votes to pass this thing. They were looking to buy time to do the negotiating to cover the rest of the year. We're almost at November 21st. This isn't a good thing. This is not going to end well at this point. The Democrats are looking for a permanent extension of the premium tax credit. They have turned down the offer of a temporary extension. Big dates that are out there are still the 1st of the month and the 15th of the month. The military, the TSA, air traffic controllers all must work and aren't getting paid. This is the problem. The last shutdown, 35 days, the longest in U.S. history, but we're just about to topple that. That one, air traffic controllers being ill, drove us back to work. President Trump has been out of the country on different missions the last few weeks. He is not participating in these negotiations, and he had previously said, follow the House's lead. I don't think he meant the fictional medical doctor. I think he meant the House of Representatives. Now, one of the things that had been in the drivers, did I put this this might be out of order. Yeah, it's out of order. So some of the drivers, in addition to payday, were military and Department of Homeland Security pay. They're essential workers. They may not get paid. One big pressure point had been SNAP and WIC. Women, infant, children is WIC. SNAP is supplemental something. It's a food payment program. One point was called food stamps. The funding for these programs have expired. Nothing is going to be paid on November 1st, but I have an update on that for you. There are elections next week in New Jersey and Virginia, off-cycle elections. I think they are to fill retired and deceased elected representatives. Thinking here is that whoever they elect might be an indicator of who to blame. Let's see what happens. Other thoughts: 70% of HUD is furloughed. Nothing is going on. Office of Management and Budget is not working. They can't do projects for Congress. They can't send numbers to Congress. No economic numbers. We're not understanding where we are and what's going on, at least government issued numbers, right? Plenty of private economists popping out numbers. So this is my update slide. And as I said, these two slides are out of order. SNAP and WIC may not be such an issue because 22 states attorneys general sued the Trump administration over WIC and SNAP. Apparently, this $5 billion of USDA contingency fund money that the president did not want used to fund these food programs. So 2 different judges ruled this afternoon that, sorry, buddy, you're gonna use that money to fund SNAP. Now, there's a federal judge seated in Rhode Island. That judge ruled from the bench, no written ruling, said, this is what you're going to do. You must spend at least that $5 billion. And he wants an update Monday morning. Where are you with spending that $5 billion? So something tells me tonight, unless they choose to appeal, which would be a mistake, politically maybe, that sometime tonight those transfers are going to go through, right? That 7 o'clock direct deposit window we're all familiar with. Yeah, I think they're going to send out $5 billion worth of payments. The federal judge seated in Massachusetts, also involved in the lawsuit, gave the administration to Monday to indicate, are they only funding $5 billion or are they going to pay in full? There's a second fund of $23 billion they could tap into. So let's remember, what does this mean? So government agencies approve spending, but they don't spend it right away. Maybe you've heard some of your local municipalities somehow still have ARPA money, American Rescue Plan money from 2021, which was supposed to be used for infrastructure. So if I have money, government doesn't spend down to the last dollar. They always have money. The question is, were they authorized to spend it? So they have $28 billion here. They have previously been authorized to spend. So simply, it just needs to be moved from one budget line to another budget line, and then we can pay the bills. So they want the bills paid. So the downside to this, don't get me wrong, I feel evil to say there's a downside because I think it's important people are fed. I think it's important people have affordable health care. But this was probably one of the bigger pressure points to get Congress to act somehow, whatever the negotiation was, whatever settlement they reached. This was going to be a big pressure point, and now it won't be. So, okay, we already covered this slide because they're out of order. So today, or yesterday in Politico is a blog. It's got some interesting pieces in it. Politico was talking about some of the behind-the-scenes conversations that are happening in attempting to get everybody back to work. So Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat from New York, was talking to someone I had to Google, Carrie Britt. She is a senator from Alabama, a Republican, makes sense. She's on the other side of the aisle. She chairs an appropriations subcommittee within Homeland Security. So she's got a minor leadership role. Certainly, she would have the ear of the chairman because of the majority leader, because that's how she got that job. The rank and file are trying to work out a deal. Certainly, if they get 60 votes together, they'll have a deal, whether that's what leadership wants or not. So Britt brought Senator Susan Collins with her, and they met with Majority Leader John Thune. And they're talking about a possible three-bill deal. This would include the leader, typo there, the Democratic demand on health care credits, at least temporarily. They're going to push through this stopgap spending bill through November 21st. Now, Thune had previously said a shutdown ending stopgap would have to be the first thing passed in any deal. He's doubled it down here, right? The Democrats are going to have to agree to open the government before they negotiate on the full budget. All right, so now Politico had some reporting today that's very interesting. There's something out there called the nuclear option. Without getting too granular, basically there's something called the filibuster. We learned about that in high school. The filibuster is I can just sit there. If I have control of the floor, I can just sit there and talk and talk and talk forever. And you've seen this. They get up, they read from the Bible, they read from really any book, and they just keep on going 24 hours a day. So the other side does not get a turn to speak or vote. All of this goes into the public record. So this is where the 60 vote rule comes from. We'll talk about that in a minute. You need 60 votes to break the filibuster and move on. President Trump is urging the Republicans to kill the filibuster, change the rules. The rules can be done on a simple majority vote, 5149, to break the shutdown. And this has been previously called the nuclear option, been used 2 other times. GOP response to this, Republican response, is split. Some of the senators are open to doing this to get the government open, but others have said no, citing the minority rights and the institutional stability. If you can do that, then chaos will erupt. And more importantly, they realize that they're not going to be in charge forever. And the next time they are in the minority, they would like this ability. So they don't want to see this happen. All right. So double checking this in a couple of spots, Reuters has said, which is a fairly independent news source these days, Reuters said that the president is pressured to scrap the 60 vote rule. They want to avoid a shutdown around day 30. Well, we're at day 31. The Republicans have a 53 to 47 vote edge in the Senate. So they would need 7 people to cross the aisle. But they have 51 to do the nuclear option. So Thune, as we've previously said, has rejected. Now Thune is the guy that said, I'm not going to budge until you give it my way, until we get that temporary spending measure. But he's also said that ending the filibuster, he's opposed to it, despite pressure to end the shutdown. So he could end it. He could do could call for a vote, do a 5150, and that's it. No more filibuster and move on. Not what he wants. He's not letting them do that. So good for him, maybe. So Rule 22 says that ending a debate, I can never pronounce this correctly, cloture, on most legislation requires 60 votes, 2/3 vote. Historically, this was previously a 2/3 vote. In 1975, they reduced that to 60. Without cloture, a determined minority can delay or block floor action. Again, sitting there just reading and talking nonsense, but keeping the floor closed, open to their party. So they don't need a formal rules amendment, which would require 60 people. They can instead just do a 5150 majority, a 5149. 5150 is a Rush album. A 5149, no, Van Halen album. A simple 5149 majority vote. They reinterpret the rules, override the presiding officer. So the net effect here would be to drop the threshold to a simple majority. Now this has happened for the one action they're trying to do. Now this has happened 2 other times. It was done to get nominations passed in 2013. It was done for the Supreme Court nomination in 2017. Not something they want to do for stability purposes, but they could do it. 2013, Harry Reid from the Democrats, the majority reinterpreted Rule 22 and said a simple majority is required for everything except Supreme Court. And 5248 this passed. 2017, though, Senator McConnell extended it to Supreme Court nominees to confirm David Koresh. But he warned at the time, folks, this is a bad idea. We've entered the slippery slope. We don't want to be doing this. We took it from, we need judges, and this is ridiculous. And they did it in 2013 and didn't do it since. 2017, they expanded it and said, well, maybe we should do it for Supreme Court judges as well. But this is all they've done. Now if they expand it to end the shutdown, there's no end in sight. So give them a little bit of credit that they're not looking to create further chaos in the government. Now, the majority could advance a funding or a tax bill with 51 votes by bypassing the minority's leverage of the filibuster. But their conference would need to stay unified. Remember, they only have 53 votes. Right now, the precedent is going to endure, though. Once in the minority, today's majority loses the same tool they took away. We said that, right? One day they're not going to be in the majority. All right. The Democrats are pushing, I probably should have put this slide earlier. The Democrats have been pushing ACA Premium Tax Credit extensions. The only political thing I'll say to you today is to remind you that in 2013, we passed 20 laws, 20 new taxes, 19 of which are still on the books. President Trump in his first administration took away the individual shared responsibility penalty. So those 19 taxes are permanent because you can't create a tax cut, which the premium tax credit effectively does. You can't do that without paying for it. So we paid for it. We paid for it permanently. So why aren't the credits permanent? Whether you think the credits are a good idea or not, that's bad policy. To keep that you have a tax that funds something, you take away the something, it should be tied to the take away the tax. So we've kept the tax and we didn't make this permanent. The Democrats would like to see those credits made permanent. Argue what you want about the delivery of health care, the delivery of health insurance, or whether the tax system is the way to deliver those credits, those discounts. The two things, you have to agree those two things should belong together, right? Make up your mind what you want to do. All right. So we're seeing signals from the leadership. Any move to tee up the precedent, the setting point of the order on the cloture. Haven't seen it. Do the holdouts, right? The folks that, like Thune, that said, no, you can't do this. You can't undermine the institution of Congress. Are we going to see a shift here due to the pressure of the shutdown? If not, you're not going to be able to do the 51 votes. But if you get them to agree, the 51 vote path is going to be accessible. They'll pass the funding and everybody goes back to work. All right. So what will happen here to make this work? The nuclear option. To make it work, the majority is going to raise a point of order in the Senate that cloture on the issue at hand, in this case, the legislation, requires only a majority. Let's do away with the 60-vote rule. Presiding officer will rule them out of order under Rule 22. The majority is going to appeal the ruling, and a simple majority. In the Senate, that would be the 51-49. 51 votes gets them to cloture, and it creates a new precedent. Not president, but precedent. and we think that would be dangerous because then moving forward, anytime they disagree with the filibuster, this is what they'll do. So in the short term, I think I just said this clears a path for the funding and the tax riders and whatever we need to get done, and the minority doesn't have to help because we only needed 51 votes and we have 53. In the interim, this invites policy whiplash because we'll have instability in the tax law and really anything else. When control flips, we're just going to say, oh, I want it the reverse of what it was. And they can do that with anything. And that's a bad idea, which is why, even though they're juxtaposed, the two sides, they agree to the 60-vote rule because they have to get some sort of agreement between the two sides, unless somebody does happen to get 60 votes, 60 members of the same party who all agree on everything, which is rare. I'm going to put my commercial here in the middle. Welcome. We're able to offer you programs like this for free, programs like Frank Agostino's events for free, because we run a $52 per month subscription for unlimited continuing education. We principally have a monthly theme. Most of the programs during that month follow the same theme. We're getting ready to start November, getting the office ready. We have an exciting lineup. We have me, Jared Foos, Brad Messner is going to join us for a couple of programs. I'm excited about that. Give us the annual technology update, cyber update that we all need. Next month, we have tax updates. I will be doing the federal and state tax update this year. We have a California update from Jane Ryder, a conformity update for California law under OBA. And we have a New York update and a New Jersey update with Catherine Keene. And I'm working on putting together an Oregon update for you folks that have asked for it. So if you need something else in the update column, let me know and I'll entertain whether I'm able to help you with that or not. And you can scan that QR code if you would like to become a subscriber. AFSP program is available only to subscribers. That is still open until the end of December. It's self-study this year. So we'll send you the 116-page text. And after you're done with the text, email Nicole. She'll get you set up to take the exam. We administer it. And once you pass, we'll issue you the credits to your account and issue you the certificate. And then you'll be set for next year to be an annual filing season participant. If you're a subscriber, that's 20 new credits live every month at a minimum. 2 credits in Spanish, a 2-credit international class from Rita Ryan, and our cybersecurity class every month currently being offered by Brad. December 2nd, join me for 2 free ethics presented by me. That is our annual Giving Tuesday program. And we'd love to have you join us. We're a very busy program. As I've mentioned, December 10th, I will do 3 hours on the individual federal tax update, and we'll do 3 hours in business and international on the 17th. Be pleased to have you join us for either one. These things are all included if you're a $52 a month subscriber. That is a huge amount of value. It's about $1,056 a month if you were buying all of this a la carte. And then we throw in an additional $678 of value annually in the AFSP, ethics, and federal updates. Ethics is on December 2nd. Christina, it will be recorded as well if you need it. We also have a couple of prior year ethics programs available online if you need to get your ethics done. I looked at the IRS processing page just for fun. It was updated last Friday, and that's normally when they update it, right? It's Fridays in the afternoon. So it's current information. 1040 series paper returns, they're close. They're processing original returns in September, as of September, amended returns that came in July. Anything with an error or special handling is of course going to take longer and probably won't get looked at until after the shutdown. Business returns, very similar except for ERTC. They're back. Some things they're back to February and March. Many other original returns are all in September. So that's pretty current. Processing of other forms, W-7 August, that's not so bad. 8802s are through September. I believe international, because this is funded separately, because these are treaty-related issues, I think that there's money outside of the IRS that funds the U.S. residency certification program, so there's no delay. That's typically where they would be, about a month behind. There are a number of months behind on 1045 NOL processing. Most embarrassing thing ever is the identity theft affidavit, January 2024, over 500 days. Sandy has asked, are the IRS taking calls from practitioners? They are. You want to call Practitioner Priority Service, 866-860. You know what? I don't... Anyway, you can Google PPS, but the Practitioner Priority Service is picking up the phones. You want to call earlier in the day because they have very limited service. They're only taking calls though at the ACS line and the accounts line, but otherwise AUR and other departments, you're not going to get a person on the phone. All right. Under correspondence, the IRS says they're processing correspondence received during the months below. Individual correspondence, they're back almost 5 months. General business correspondence items back to February, 8 months, almost 9 months. Other things go back to June. It's just outrageous. PTIN renewals. You need to have a PTIN if you're taking money for preparation of a tax return. It's $1 less this year, $18.75. Takes 15 minutes. And again, you need a PTIN if you're preparing a tax return. So please update your PTINs. Enrolled agent renewal is open. When I saw this email, I said, that looks like a scam. More importantly, because I didn't think that I was due for renewal, but I am. If your social security number ends in 4, 5, or 6, guess what? Your EA card is up for renewal. I gave you the link up there above for their list. It's a 3-year cycle, you know that. So October 1st, 2025 to January 31st, 2026. You can go in and register. It's open. They want you to renew online go to pay.gov, use Form 8554 to renew, not Form 26, Form 8554. You can renew on paper. I say this is not recommended. Now, in the past, the problem is you can only put 99 credits. And I know people that get more than 99 credits and, they want to, list their 300 credits. Well, guess what? When you mail it in, they use the same computer that you would use online, and all you're going to get is credit for 99 credits on there. So do yourself a favor, do it online and make sure this gets done. You have to have 72 hours every 3 years, but 66 of those can come from qualifying tax-related programs. 6 hours of ethics, you're supposed to earn 2 hours of ethics each year. In our experience, extra ethics classes don't count towards the 66. So I've had 6 or 8 ethics credits some years. I only get credit for 2. The other credits don't count towards the 66 hours of credits. So be careful. Log into your PTIN account, see where you are. CPAs, I can't offer you on demand. Everyone else, I can offer you on demand. Go in and take the programs you need. Please try not to let it go till the end of the year. There's always somebody between Christmas that takes 30 hours of content, and I know you give up your holiday for that. The AFTR does not count for credit for enrolled agents. It'll appear in your transcript, but it doesn't count. And I did have them remind me of that one year, but again, like you, I'm probably over 100 credits every year, so it just doesn't matter. So the Math and Taxpayer Help Act is out there. We've seen a whole lot of chatter about it online. I know I saw an email about it, a newsletter about it this week that I subscribed to. But remember, the president has been out of town. He has not signed it yet. It's likely that he will. I mean, the House approved this thing back in February. The Senate approved it on January 20th, and they did it by a unanimous consent voice vote. It's a very good bill. It clarifies the rights for taxpayers. It creates a clearer notice for folks on how to fix math authority notices. It's a clear explanation of how to cure it. And personally, many tax pros, I think, aren't using it. I had someone who had a refund removed and a credit removed incorrectly, and the taxpayer got a bill and they're freaking out. I said, pick up the phone and call. They have to move it back. Now, what happens if they move it back and the IRS thinks that you're wrong? It can become a notice of deficiency, and you're going to need to respond to the 90-day letter. So don't get me wrong, but it's not a free lunch. But these things will be very clearly explained, so both practitioners and tax professionals will see it. Now, it doesn't go into effect for a year after signing of the bill. So if the president signs it next week after, you're not going to see any of these notices until November of 2026. And quite honestly, that to me means the 2027 filing season. You'll first start to see these May or June as returns are processed and bounced. I have a bunch of upcoming events. I need to update this slide, but next Friday and Saturday, I am at the Southern Regional Tax Conference. I'm the only speaker. So that is your absolute chance to get 2 full days of me and only me. Join me in Biloxi at the IP Casino. It'll be fun if you want to come. I'm in Pennsylvania, out in Erie, which is near the Ohio border, sort of near the New York-Buffalo border. Come on down November 17th and 18th. I'm speaking all day. This changed. I'm speaking all day on Monday the 17th. So you probably want to come down and give a hear. I'm doing federal tax update all day, I think, with ethics in January on the 8th in Detroit. I'll be in Nevada on the 21st. We canceled the 22nd S Corp class. I will take care of that. Tentatively, though, Rita is going to do 8 hours of pen to paper Form 1040 NR January 12th in Orlando. So there'll be more on that coming out shortly. And I may do the S Corp class that week as well. So we'd love to have you if you want to join us in any of those programs. Again, if you're not a subscriber, please consider becoming one, $52 a month. You'll be able to watch this on replay if you didn't catch all of it, because some of you came in late. It'll be up on replay in about an hour and a half. I'm going to put it on YouTube. Moving forward, we're probably going to put all the replays on the YouTube channel. So please find where that is and subscribe. And thank you again. I want everyone to have a great weekend. Let me just make sure the Q&A is clear.
And also, John, I wanted to make a reminder that next week it will be uploaded to YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Next week, some of you probably caught this. If I'm speaking all day on the 8th, how can I do this live? And the answer is I can't. So I'm going to record the program, and we're going to release it around 3 p.m. on. So be prepared. Just go to the YouTube channel. So if you want to subscribe to that, you'll see it pop up. It's gonna drop a little bit before 3 p.m. next Friday, and you'll be able to tune in and catch me. So either come and meet me in Biloxi or watch the video on Friday, the recorded video. All right. So everybody, thank you again. Bill does say, renewed my EA last night. They asked for a breakout for tax and for ethics for the last 3 years, but sounds like Bill was able to successfully register. So everybody, thank you again for joining us. It's Halloween. If you're out, be safe. Make sure the kids are safe, and have a fabulous weekend. All right, everybody. Thanks again. Nicole, you too.
Happy Halloween, everyone. Good night.